Hi, it's Roger here from What's On at DisneyPlus.com, and I'm here with Nami, who is the composer of the brand new Disney Plus original series Dream Productions. So, before we kind of get into um, that show, how did you kind of get started in doing music for shows and films?
Oh, it was a long dream of mine since I was like 14. uh, I was very, uh, I was very much in love with films like Home Alone and the score from Home Alone. Like I can still sing it, and I remember every really every note. I watched it way too many times. Uh, and then also films like The Lord of the Rings. That was a huge influence as well. And I would play the score on the piano. Like I tried to find the melody and the chords, and when I realized that it is possible, I was like, wait, maybe I can do that too, and that's what sparked that like whole journey and crazy ride, which I enjoy every moment of.
That sounds fantastic. How did you kind of come up with the sound of Dream Productions?
So we were looking for something different, a little different than the movies. We wanted it to be more of a Hollywood thing because you're the show takes place in a studio that looks exactly like a Hollywood studio, a lot like Paramount or Warner Brothers or Disney, and it needs to feel it needed to feel big and cool and exciting, but also like old school Hollywood. And so the sound kind of also came from the idea of Mike to do like something with a B3. Sorry, Mike is the showrunner and the amazing brain behind all of this. So he was like, "What about a B3? Like, how about we feature a B3, which is kind of like a Hammond organ that was used a lot in the late '60s and '70s, and it goes across many genres, and so." It has such rich color. It could be very funky and fun, and it could have a lot of attitude, which is also it really helps with the mockumentary. And then it could be very delicate and warm, um, like we used it in the lucid dream at the end. And I really love that idea. I thought like this is a great opportunity to play around with those sounds, and yeah, the score shaped to be very colorful, like the show. With a lot of those in like jazz rock, soul and funk influences, which I thought was really cool to add like the band to the jazz horns to the orchestra. And on top of it, we also recorded a really cool song called "It's Mermaid Unicorn."
It's what I was. There was a few bits in the show of like it was like the Hollywood Reporter and Variety. That was what I picked up on, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, a little things like that, which I loved about the show. Um, how long had you been working on the show, doing all the music?
We started in October of 2023 and we finished around March of
Okay.
2024. So I would say a few good months, but it was very, very intense. I think the approach felt more like a feature film in that sense because we worked on the music, and then we recorded all of it together, which is a similar process as a feature film. I work on other shows where we finish an episode, we record it, we finalize it, we dub it, and then we move to the next episode. Like that's very often with Star Trek, for example. And so this one felt very unique in that sense that it had a it's such a great like it would also work well as a film if you just started from one episode to finish.
Yes, funny so because that was actually going to be one of the questions because I binged all four episodes in one sitting, so it was basically just a movie for me. And it's that kind of thing. And as you mentioned there, you worked on a couple of Star Trek series, and I got to say, my dad is a huge Trekkie, so he's going to be rather. How did it like compare doing like Star Trek to doing a Pixar film or series?
Well, it's very different in the style. And I did work on an animated show for Star Trek, so I would say that would be the Star Trek Prodigy would be the comparison here. So as I said, like there was a difference in technicality, but there's a bit of a difference in the like scoring approach because Star Trek, you want to honor the legacy of all the shows and movies that came before, and there's more use of the main motif, the main theme of Star Trek, and then there's a very you have an orchestral palette really that you begin with, and you add on it. And I felt like with Dream Productions, and it's part of the world of Inside Out, but it's not like it didn't have that like orchestral palette to begin with. And so I felt like, in terms of working in this completely different sound, that was really cool and really exciting to sort of like the most of the work was with the band. And so and I tried instruments I never worked with before, like the B3, and like a lot of Latin percussion and vibraphone, and so many variations of how you can play it. And we experimented a lot too. And I feel like in track, which I love track, I am a Trekkie as well. And it was very fun. And it also, on the bigger shows, you can do like you start a theme in episode 1 and you finish in episode 40. So it's on the bigger scale. I feel like it's a big difference between 4 episodes to 40.
Yeah, and also prior to Dream Productions, you also worked on a lovely short, "Far from the Tree," which was shown before in Canada. Was like a good little, like almost like a trial run for kind of working on Dream Productions?
I'm not sure if it was. I mean, maybe yeah, you'd have to ask Disney. I think they saw a lot of potential probably after that score. But if you listen to both projects, they're completely different genres, completely different styles. But yeah, that film has a very, very special place in my heart. And Nally, the director, did such an incredible universal job. Like it speaks to everyone, and I think that's what Disney and Pixar does best. It just speaks to everyone. And the response has been amazing to both projects. Yeah, I'm very grateful to be part of both, really. And
And
I
all,
am obsessed with raccoons ever since. So I have one in
it,
the backyard sometimes. He
oh,
shows up. Yeah, it's very cute. My cat does not like him, but you know.
I was because also kind of in that same like Disney family, you also did work on Marvel's Thor: Love and Thunder. What was that project like working on? Because I love those films.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was really fun and crazy at the same time, because the timeline for that was extremely quick. I think I was brought on at like around February, and we needed to finish things in June. Like, and this is a huge scope of work and film, and we needed to rush everything, and be super creative super quickly, like revisions being done, at day after day after day, and then a lot of versions of the movie being sent, like sometimes twice a day, a different like edit. So you really have to catch up. Like it was a really great exercise, and like really a marathon, because you have to continue to go, and there is not a lot of time. But seeing all those people I love on screen, like Natalie Portman, I just, for me, Chris Hemsworth, like all of it, it was such a as a Disney fan, and also as a fan in general, like of movies, I'm uh it was like I couldn't believe that I get to work on that, like so yeah. And then the musical aspect of it was so cool. Like we got to work with a huge orchestra, almost like 100 people, and then a huge choir as well, and recording in Abbey Road in London. So it's like really so amazing to work on a Marvel movie. Like I would love to do that again.
Yeah,
Anytime.
yeah,
If you're
and
hearing-
yeah, I mean, it is just that kind of thing that there's it's an amazing sort of sound with all of it.
Yeah, it's so
And
grand.
it's yeah, and yeah, especially those kind of Ragnarok and Thor: Love and Thunder are very different than most of the other MCU. But kind of going back to Dream Productions, what was kind of your biggest challenge working on the show?
So I think the biggest challenge was scoring the genre mockumentary, because it's like the show is jumping from like drama to comedy to like this sort of documentary mockumentary feel, and it's all animated. And so we are used that animation has a lot of music in it. It's almost like a supporting character. And so I think one of the challenges was to find the right tone, the right blend, and the right amount of music, and where it would stop and where it would continue, and where it starts, and like what is it trying to say. And so in the professional terms, it would be spotting. So there was a lot of back and forth of like, do we want music in the scene and or not? And so a lot of times I would try something, and then we'll go back and forth and like, maybe we don't need music here at all, or maybe this actually needs to be longer or start earlier. And so a lot of these like timing things really helped accentuate the jokes and the emotions. And there are a lot of transitions, and oftentimes in animation it's very quick. You have to transition from a certain feel and within 2 seconds to be in another completely different tone but feel cohesive. And then the show presented a lot of different musical styles. You had like 80s rock song that's supposed to be bad, like in that Bad Dream. And then I'm using the best guitar player in the world. He played on everything. Like he's amazing, and he just can't play a bad solo. So that took like 4 takes just to make him do something we could use, because he can't play a bad solo. But yeah, so all these genres combined together, and writing a television older television theme that feels like the good old American shows, and then the Mermaid Unicorn song. And so it just required so many hats to wear. So I enjoy it, but it was a challenging project for sure.
That's cool. And kind of on the flip side of that, what was your biggest highlight working on the show?
Oh man, I think recording Mermaid Unicorn, and I brought these little balloons for the scoring stage, and so every kid got a balloon of a unicorn with a rainbow, uh, and like little stickers, and I think they really had a good time, and so did I. It was a really beautiful day. We had 6 kids and 3 women who are able to sound a little bit like kids too. So it was a really fun day. And I think that was one of the biggest highlights. Yeah.
That sounds cool. And it's kind of one of those things, I think as adults we can all, I think that's one of the great things about Inside Out is you can kind of remember that feeling of like something that you loved as a kid and suddenly then, oh no, it's not cool anymore, and and getting
Yeah.
caught. And then as you get older, you go, actually, I did like that. I'm bringing it back.
Yeah, completely. Yeah.
And as my kind of final question, this again kind of interconnects sometimes with your work on some of the other projects, but Disney owns a lot of different franchises, lots of different characters and stuff. If you could pick, something to work on for Disney, what one would you like to work on in the future?
I would like to work on Dream Productions season 2. I don't know if it's coming or if they're. I really hope that we will be able to do something like that. But yeah, any. I'm a huge fan of everything animated, and I feel like all the stories that Pixar has brought us, and Disney too, throughout the years really shaped my personality and my it's really in the fabric of my life and who I am today. And I feel like being part of anything they do that helps create a better future and gives hope to people and gives entertainment to people and let them think about certain things and teaches them new experiences and new emotions. All of anything they do, I support. And I feel like I mean I would be honored to do anything to do, honestly.
Yeah.
um
It's also as well. I mean, Dream Productions. It was just announced this week as well. Had a massive debut on Disney Plus, one of the biggest animated shows they've had. So hopefully, I mean, it's wide open. I mean, it feels like a story that just could keep running
yeah.
and running. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, and then now that I'm thinking about it, I think even like one of the films that I really was into as a child, and even today, like is Aristocats. And so if they ever do like a renewal of that, or like another maybe a live action or anything of that sort, I would love to do a movie about cats. Or I think that is something I would really enjoy.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the. It was one of the videos I had as a kid of just watching that movie. So definitely know that one very well. But again, thank you so much again for taking your time out to speak to us today. Big thank you, and obviously you can check out Dream Productions right now on Disney Plus. And again, thank you very much. Cheers.
Thank you.